Zero and the Search for Effective Zen. Episode 12. What do we make of equanimity, direct knowledge, self-awakening, and unbinding? Ever feel like your life is running on autopilot? Like you're just bouncing from one thing to the next with no real control? One moment you're calm and collected, the next, much less so. What if there was a way to navigate life with unshakable clarity, where every action felt effortless, precise, inevitable? That's exactly what we're talking about today. Buckle up, because we're diving deep into 4 powerful concepts straight from the Buddha himself. Equanimity, direct knowledge, self-awakening, and unbinding. These aren't just fancy spiritual buzzwords. They're the 4 gates, milestones on the path to something big. And if you don't understand them, how do you even know if you're on a path at all? But first, let's rewind a bit. Can we agree that every successful journey needs 3 things? A clear goal, a clear path to that goal, and a clear idea of the obstacles along the way. As we've discussed in a previous episode, when it comes to Buddhism, the goal is pretty straightforward: the realization of infinite mind. Namely, the realization that there is no separation between self and circumstance. The second requirement is a clear path to the realization of infinite mind. That's where these 4 gates come in. The Buddha laid them out in his first discourse, setting in motion the wheel of the Dhamma. It all starts with the first gate he calls equanimity. Passing through that leads to another gate, direct knowledge. Leads to another, self-awakening, which leads to the last, unbinding. That's the path that the Buddha worked through and spent the rest of his life teaching about. So, does everyone have to pass through these exact same gates? Seems like an important thing to figure out. Otherwise, you could be meditating, chanting, or koaning your way into oblivion, thinking you're on a spiritual path, when really you're just spinning in circles. It turns out that before we unpack that, there's a key term we need to investigate, one that shows up everywhere in Zen literature: stillness. No, not the stillness where you sit like a statue and pretend you're not itchy. We're looking for the stillness that isn't the absence of movement, but a quality of movement. It's the difference between reacting and responding, between being pulled by impulses and moving with precision. In Zen, stillness is the manifestation of unfettered activity. And that's not just some poetic fluff. It's a real observable phenomenon. Take the Buddha, for example. The Buddha might describe stillness as the unfettered activity of suffering. The constant, inevitable cycling between suffering arising and suffering ceasing. Zen master Joshu Sasaki might have described stillness as the unfettered cycling between the activities of perfectly clear and not so clear. And Thich Hanh? He might have framed stillness in terms of joy, as the unfettered cycling between the activities of joy and sadness. Reality, creativity, compassion, even fear. Each of these might be seen as a framework used by a teacher in presenting the notion of true stillness. And this notion of unique, teacher-centric frameworks might just be the key to fully appreciating the Buddha's 4 gates. But there's one more puzzle piece. If different teachers use different teaching frameworks, suffering, clarity, joy, then we should want to know if there is something common to them. That's the question we'll tackle next. And so the question for next episode: are there characteristics common to all teaching frameworks?